And so he was like, there's different levels you have to go in the groundlings. He was like, and he said, barely nobody passes the first level of the groundlings. And I was like, dang. He was like, yeah. He said, so it's intense.
Sounds like Scientology.
I don't know too much about Scientology. Well, other than The Master, other than watching that movie, but I don't really know too much about what they do.
Well, like 4 billion years ago, the evil warlord Xenu.
Yeah, unloaded like
a bunch of souls.
They call it
into volcanoes.
What's it called?
Thetans.
And it's like 1,000 Thetans, like not possessed, but like inside a human being.
Yeah.
Which created a human being.
They're like alien souls.
And you have to pay sessions to get it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like thousands of dollars each session to get it out, and then they do a personality test.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever's,
apparently the book that the L. Ron Hubbard book Dianetics, the original book that started the whole thing. Apparently, if you take that book at just like face value, it is like a pretty decent,
it's interesting, right?
Self-help book.
Yeah,
I've never read it myself.
His mind, I'm not gonna lie, his mindset is very captivating. I feel like he would have been a great science fiction freaking director or writer, because
he did you know he wrote more science fiction than any known author in like
I didn't know
history.
that.
The dude was like a voracious writer. He wrote hundreds of books, science fiction.
I'm not gonna lie, his mind was very creative. He had a very creative mind, but then he turned into a religion.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you know what I'm saying? It's interesting. What they believe is very interesting. Because even when they call me on the street sometimes when I'm walking in Hollywood, they tell me about it. I'm like, it's very interesting, but I'm not about to, I have to pay all this money for these thetans to get out of my body. I'm cool. Just tell me about what just tell me about it. I don't
how has it helped you?
Yeah, seriously. I don't know, but like I said, it's very interesting. L. Ron Hubbard is a very interesting man. It's very, I don't want to say captivating, but it's very interesting of what their belief is. They do some, I would say, shady stuff to some people, like
kidnap people.
Yeah, they do a lot of bad stuff.
If you leave the church, you lose friends.
Yeah, and then they have like the IRS go after you and stuff. And it's like, okay, this is pretty messed up.
They're the biggest property holders in Los Angeles. The Church of Scientology, they're worth billions.
It's crazy. But because people are paying $1,000. Again, I mean, like, if whatever you believe is whatever you believe. But like, my thing is like, if you inflict pain on people, just because they don't agree with you, and if you go about flicking pain on a certain person, it's like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Chill out. You don't need to do that. What's the point of doing that? Just say I disagree and be like, okay, let's bygones be bygones. Shake hands and walk away. Why do we have to hurt one another?
That's the scary part of church infecting state.
Yeah.
With the government, can you impose Christian doctrine or Islamic doctrine into the laws of a country? And it seems to
especially
never work
in a country where it's like mixed with everything. America's mixed with everything.
It's not like we're Israel or something where like most of people are Jews or
or Saudi Arabia where like it's predominant Muslims.
Yeah.
And this is a country where it's like you have Muslims, you have Jewish people, you have atheists, you have Christians, you have Catholics, you have Hindus, you have Buddhists, you have multiple of these religions. So it's like you have to come to a common ground as to what the law is going to be about.
You can't basically, because if everyone believes in a different God, but you try to push one as like the main one, that automatically alienates people. Number one, and then the people that are believing in the official religion, they get empowered to try to impose things on the others, and that just leads to, fucking throwing gays off buildings like they do in Saudi Arabia, or like hanging people or violence. It just leads to bad things.
Yeah, it does.
Like believing any belief that you hold where like something that someone else does, like a personal choice in their life, like having an abortion or being gay, if you think that your God is against that, you're you're probably more willing to do something bad in the name of your God than doing something good. But that's all how you interpret things. Like, it's so weird. It's like how just against Jesus, like how Jesus is presented in the Bible, how anti-Jesus a lot of like the evangelical Christian like senators and representatives, people in the government try to spin his teachings. It's like Jesus didn't care about gay people. He never once said anything about homosexuality being right or wrong. And if your belief, like I went to Catholic school and Lutheran school through kindergarten through high school, so I grew up being taught religion my whole life, even though I don't personally consider myself a believer. But it's just like you can't. It's very like hypocritical in the sense like where you're going to say the New Testament supersedes the Old Testament, except when it comes to like laws and punishments. Like the Old Testament's where it's like homosexuality's bad, stone people for being adulterers or whatever. And the New Testament's just very fucking chill. Jesus, it's all about loving, one another and picking each other up, and it's just about love. So I don't know. It's annoying when something I don't even personally believe in myself, but you see like people are interpreting something the wrong way. Like that's not what that means. Like there's nothing wrong with being gay or I don't know.
But when you look at like just the way the world is just going on about everything, it's just like you said, it's just like even for people out there that disagree, whatever, it's just how does a certain individual lifestyle affects you?
And most of the time, it doesn't.
Because whether you disagree or agree or whatever, whether you're for something or you're not for something, it's at the end of the day, it's like, what are you doing for yourself, to better society? What are you doing?
Well, they might say, I'm trying to get rid of the gays to make society cleaner.
And my thing is just like, who are we to judge anybody? You know what I'm saying? And I think that like we all, like I said, we all should, I keep going back to this. We all should just inspire one another, just help one another, be there for one another, encourage one another. Because at the end of the day, our heart is going to stop beating. That's facts. At the end of the day, your heart's going to stop beating. I'm not going to say at the end of the day, but like later on in the day, later in life, your heart's going to stop beating. My heart's going to stop beating.
Especially and so if you don't have healthcare.
So it's going to be like, what impact did you leave on the world? That's why I look at these people that have transcendence, like Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Marcus Garvey. I look at people like this, and I'm like, their energy has completely transcended into generations that we are still speaking about them today. Until this day, we're still speaking about it. And their death hasn't even happened that long ago. Martin Luther King was assassinated, 50 years ago? That's not like my dad's 50. My mom is 50. My mom's 51. So when they were born, assassinations was happening. So this country has not really it's not that far from the past.
No, yeah.
So it's like, what are we doing as people to help one another? What are we doing to heal one another, to mold one another, to uplift people? What are we doing as society to build up each other? You know what I'm saying?